Hi TYB community, welcome to your second snapshot. I hope you are loving the book of Revelations. As I said, I got converted 6 years ago to read this book, and you know, my lecturer in my degree read it to me in one hit, in audio. That is a great way to read or listen to the book of Revelations. If you can do that, get an audio recording of Revelations and just put it on and get somebody who's animated. And by the end, I was in my study and I was like, oh Jesus, you need to come back now. This is getting really bad. And then when he came back, I was in tears crying. This book was read to an oral society in the first century, as I said last week in the snapshot, to a persecuted people that were in a society where they had to choose Jesus or their government. Otherwise, they were going to be cut off from society. And so they were trying to work out what to do. And then all of a sudden, this messenger comes from John. And imagine that. He comes in and he has this letter from John. And he stands in front of your church. Your church is waning, it's worried about what's going to happen in the future, and he starts to read this letter to you, from this vision to you, from beginning to end. In that society, you would have understood it from beginning to end because you're used to this genre. We're going to talk about the genre of the book. You're used to the beasts, and you're used to dragons, and you're used to this type of writing, and you would have been emotionally invested. I can imagine the church cheering when Jesus appears in the beginning and then cheering when Jesus appears at the end. They're getting a fresh revelation of what heaven looks like in every situation. Let me tell you something. This book is to be experienced, not just read. So when you read Revelation, that's why I'm saying maybe get someone to read it to you. You are to experience the feelings behind this. This is an emotional book. You just don't read it from cover to cover and go, oh, don't overanalyze it. Experience the book of Revelations, because you are supposed to go, oh my gosh, the dragon and the beast and the two beasts, and oh my goodness. And you're supposed to imagine an amazing play in front of you, and it's giving you the future of the world. Now, as you go through this, guys, what are we reading? We are reading a genre. We are reading 3 different genres. We're reading a circular letter, and we can see in the beginning of Revelation the letters to the 7 churches. We are reading a prophetic book, so that you're going to have specific prophecies to the first century at that time and prophecies in this book. And you're reading an apocalyptic literature. Now, apocalyptic literature, as I said, in first century was very common for them. We've got parts of the Bible. Now, I know some people when they read this, they go, oh, it's so weird and it's so unusual. Yes, because it's apocalyptic. Let me explain to you what that means. In every apocalyptic literature, a person is taken by an angel to heaven or to a heavenly place and shown the reality of the situation. So they're down here on earth going, I don't know what's happening, and an apocalyptic literature experience was them being taken by an angel and shown the heavenly realm and given hope and faith and life. That is why I want you to completely rewrite this book. Again, in first century, they would have understood this. They didn't mind map it. They didn't pre-plan it. They didn't go through and they would have analyzed it. There is so much Old Testament text in this that they would have heard every Old Testament reference coming through. But they would have understood it in the apocalypse that it is. The sea was always where the evil people came from. The beasts were the opposite to what. We've got these 2 sides and these battles of 2 sides. So as you read this book, experience this book. You are going to absolutely love it. So again, this book is all about, in all circumstances here on earth, God is completely in control. And the first century church would have heard that. Now, let me tell you finally, if you want some help with reading this book, Tom Wright, Revelation for Everyone, is an amazing commentary. Very easy, light, easy reading commentary. The textbook that I actually studied this book with is this one. Amazing. If you want to go deeper into the understanding of theology behind this book and the references, New Testament, the theology of the book of Revelation, Richard Borkham. This is an amazing text. I would really encourage you to buy this, and I'll do it in the book review. Lastly, guys, this book of Revelation is the climax to the Bible. I have heard so many preachers on Revelation, and they've taken it out of the message of the Bible, and they've made it weird and awkward, and people are like actually in fear of the book. That's not the intention of this book. This book is set in the context of the Bible. Stop taking it out of the Bible. It is a message of hope. It is the final exclamation mark. It is the pinnacle point at the end of the movie when everyone's on their feet screaming. We've watched in Genesis the original intention of earth. We've watched in Genesis the fall of man. We've watched the history of Jerusalem and Babylon and going back and forth. We've watched creation, groaning in anticipation for the end of time. We've watched all these incredible things. And then what happens is all of these strings through the Bible, Jerusalem, creation, altars, you've got every string through the Bible comes to the point of revelation and God puts it in a bow. It's like all of these beautiful patterns through the Bible get their final climax in Revelation. We get a new creation, new heaven and new earth. Jerusalem, the people of God are established, God's kingdom. This is more about the establishment of the kingdom of God than it is about heaven and hell. This is more about the establishment of Him coming back here, ruling on this earth as the original intention. I'm going to show you in the dives and the deep dives as we go through this, this is God's climax of all prophecies in this Bible. So please, as you're reading it, keep it within the context of the Bible. You're going to love this book. Have fun reading it for your second week. See you in the third week.